What's up to all those alone in the zone? It's the one putting the pencil to work, John Eli Lopez, back once again on a mission to get you one step closer to being the king or the queen of the pencil. And today I'll be discussing how important is it to use reference material. If you'd like to follow along, all you would need is a pencil, paper, and a good reference material. If you have anything to add color, that's an added bonus. The reference material that I used to draw one of my favorite characters from the G.I. Joe franchise, Snake Eyes. I found a couple, and these are them, and one is even the toy. Another one is from the comic books, and this one is the pose that I chose to go with. Okay, so as we begin, I first established my action line, and once I had that in place, I kind of put a line for how long I feel the sword might be, because I want to make sure it fits into the entire picture plane, and everything else is balanced off that. So then I continue to the head, getting the arms in, the body, and I knew this was going to be somewhat of a challenge because I'm trying to fit it into this area, into this one area. So if the sword does not fit, then everything else is thrown off because that's the main weapon that he's holding in this image. So I'm just working everything out, and you before any detail is added, you want to make sure your proportions match up. So I'm just tweaking and fiddling and making sure everything is aligned and the proper width. Like his wrist was a little too thin for me, so I had to thicken that up a bit. It's just a back and forth, step back and look. Because even though I chose that position, I still have to come now and do the drawing of that position. So that's why it's good to use. There's nothing wrong with using reference material because you still have to draw it. So it will improve your drawing abilities and your line work. All aspects of your drawings, of your drawing skill will improve. So now that I feel like I'm getting the arm and those type of things in, I'm just placing where the other hand would be holding the sword. So now everything has to play off of each other. So you are placing one thing in relation to the other. So that's what I'm doing here. It's just like a back and forth thing. So if I feel one arm is too long or his head might have been too big, let's make the head a little smaller now so it matches with the body. And the arm was a little too thin here. So let's get his bicep. Let's get them guns going. So all I took was the position from the last pose, the real reference from the movie. But the visor, I'm kind of blending and creating my own mix of the toy version and the one that I saw in the comic book. So I'm kind of just blending those two together and creating my own back piece because you see so much iterations of how the piece that comes from behind his head to the visor. So I just created my own. And as far as the suit goes, I'm doing my own line work on the suit. So these are the things you get creative on. Is the things you're not too sure about, make your own up and add it to this character. So this the line work on this suit does not exist. This is all coming out of my head right now. And as far as the waistband there, the compartments and accessory holders there, that exists, but the other stuff, is coming out of my head, and I'm gonna once I have those type of things down pat, now it's getting the guard of the weapon to flow. And in this type of thing, if one thing is off, it's gonna be like an eyesore. It's just gonna throw the entire piece off. So don't take anything for granted or just try to run through a certain part. Try to get everything to work together. So as I'm putting it all together, I decide I'm going to take at least the gloves from that pose of gloves he's wearing and kind of simplify that. And as the piece is building up, you want to step back, look, and once I was happy with everything, we just gonna go for it and get the line work going. And the thing is, just be confident with your lines, even if they're not as straight or as flowing as you would like. You can touch it up in post, or you could find a way to touch it up as you're doing it. So don't let that throw you off. Because I see, even on my sword, that's why I left that in. Um, the bottom line, I think, is a little wobbly, but I know I'm going to find a way to tighten that up. Either I'm going to use a curve ruler that has curves on it, or I'm going to tighten it up digitally, like in Photoshop or Procreate or one of those things. Little things like that you can touch up. So that's what's good about, you know, the digital world we are in right now. You could tighten things up. But it could never take the place of good line work and your drawing abilities. So that's why I always go back to being the king and queen of the pencil. That way, no computer could ever beat you. Right? Because we are creative beings. So that's it. And one part, my kneaded eraser, I didn't clean it up enough, so it's leaving little lines on there. You got to remember it's kneaded eraser for a reason. You need to knead it, break it apart, and kind of clean it up. So I had to come back with the regular pencil that had the hard eraser on it. So got rid of those little lines there. And for the most part, Snake Eyes is a walking grayscale. And he's going from, he has light to dark in him. So once you remember that, all the markers and things that I'm using here is the Copic markers, and I'm using from light gray to black. So I'm using at least a good 5 different type of grays. And this one is a pick and choose. Some people like to go dark first and get all the dark areas in first, and that's all on how the vibe hits you. I'm just putting in the lighter areas first, and then kind of gonna build my way up from there. All right, and I'm leaving a little space there in between the lines. That's just adding to the armored kind of look of his suit. And it is a build up. And the first grade that I put down was actually like the light gray before the lightest, before the the white reflective areas. And this grade that I'm putting down it's kind of a gray before it gets to the black. So I didn't go to the furthest extreme of either, even though with the light highlight areas I left white. I left the white of the paper that I'm using, so that was already established there. But the darkest areas, I'm gonna have to come and put that in. And even though the lines of his suit, I left the white of the paper there, I know you have to, recognize that if you want something to really stand out as a bright highlight, you're going to have to tone down other areas of that piece to make the true highlighted area stand out more. So eventually I will tone those lines down, but we want to establish everything else first. So now I'm coming in with the black now, and that, once you start putting that in, it's just adding a whole new flavor. And now we're starting to tone down some of the too bright areas there, and we are just coming with a gray tone darker than the first gray I started off with, and that is just kind of blending everything together, and it's like a dark gray there, and that on top of the black just adds like this smoke gray effect. And it is just like coming together with all these different grays. And I like my white color pencil here. So we just added the glowing effect on the blade and some more dark grays here. And my boy Snake Eyes is coming together. And there we go. I'm still going to add a little After Effects here in Photoshop. And as you see here, I tightened up that sword line, added some bright work, made that white pop a little bit more, just to show you guys that, you can enhance your drawings even more and level up. It's all about leveling up. And eventually I will, be coming with the post-production of my drawings. So there you have it, folks. We are done. Hope you guys got some value from this video. If you did, chop that subscribe button, hit the like, leave a comment. Any feedback will be appreciated and help the channel to continue to grow. So until next time, John Eli Lopez signing out. Y'all be good and be safe.